What's up YouTube, this is Radiantxela and I'm going to be rebooting my YouTube channel starting today, and I'll be doing videos of both Yu-Gi-Oh! And new Star Wars Destiny collectible card game. So for my first video of my return I have a Crystron Turbo Synchro deck that I will be showing to you guys. It's a bit different from the normals. I'll part it into the extra decks, spell traps and the monsters, leading with the monsters. So we'll go ahead and place these. First, I'm gonna go with 3 Crystron Citree. It's your basic level 2 tuner of this deck. It's a water machine, and most of the Crystrons are water machine, actually all of them are. And they can synchro summon during your opponent's main phase or battle phase using any monster, not a Crystron monster necessarily, from your graveyard. But you have to banish this tuner as well as the material monster afterwards. This combos well into the deck, and I'll show you in a bit. I use one Crystron Quan. It has the same effect of synchroing during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, but it can only use monsters as material from your hand, and of course both of these tuners special summon the monster that they want to use for material. It sends the monster and itself to the graveyard for the synchro summon, which sort of makes it the opener for Citree. The thing is, this is a -2 card because you have to summon it and you have to have the material in your hand. You can't spend it, which makes it a real lot slower than Citree. So it's only at 1, since I'm going for the turbo style. I'm using one Rosenix, and Rosenix is primarily used with Quan to create a level 5 synchro summon. It has an effect in the graveyard where you can banish it and then gain a level 1 token. All of the Crystron non-tuners that are coming now have the effect that you can send a face-up card on the field to the graveyard that you control to special summon a Crystron tuner from your deck. With my style of the deck, you will be summoning Rosenix and sending it to the graveyard, then summoning in Quan or Citree, and the same goes for the rest of them. I'm running 2 Prasiortle, the turtle. It can banish itself from the graveyard to special summon a Crystron from your hand. This combos well, I guess, with Quan, but I never actually get to use the banish and then play from hand because this deck just circs out the monsters during special summons. And it sends most of the monsters to the graveyard to use their effects there, or use them as materials for Citree. So you won't really get that much out of the effect. But it is a level 2, which is important because it's a material for C3 to create their level 4 synchro that we'll be getting to. Right, then I'm running 3 Thystvern. Thystvern has the effect that you can banish it from the graveyard to add any Crystron monster from your deck to your hand, and as well as Prasiortle and Rosenix, it has the summon tuner from deck function. This is level 3, which makes it deliciously good because their level 5 synchro is really good, as far as level 5s goes, of course. It's not an Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, but it is very good. And the search from deck to hand effect, you will mostly pick up the next guy, Smiger, which we'll be getting to in a moment. And we are now. So this is Crystron Smiger. His effect lets you pick up spells or traps with Crystron in their name from your deck by banishing him from the graveyard. I thought he was really good at first, and now I'm like, meh, but I'm still running 3 because he's a searcher, and searchers are delicious, and he can summon the tuners. And he's level 3, like Thystvern, so you can use him to summon out the really good stuff from your deck, the tuners, of course. So, as I said, this is a turbo synchro deck. This is the Crystron engine. These are the Crystron monsters actually used. So summon tokens with Rosenix, special summon from deck with Prasiortle, search monsters with Thystvern, and search spells and traps with Smiger. So here comes where my deck gets funny, because this is a turbo deck. So we're using 2 Jet Syncrons. Jet Syncron is amazing. It's a level 1 tuner, and you can special summon it from the graveyard by ditching 1 card from your hand. It also has a search effect regarding junks, but this deck can't use it. Once it's summoned from the graveyard by its own effect, you have to banish it after using it, which isn't really a problem for this deck. It is mostly used in combination with the level 5 synchro monster Accel Synchron to improve or decrease that monster's level, and then summon this guy into perhaps a Crystal Wing with level 7 synchro monster. So that's why we have this. Way better than Quan. So I'm running 2 Karakuri dogs. This is dog time, and this is very, very good. It's a dog with a cannon, which makes it happy. And it's a Karakuri monster, which makes it a target for 2 of the machine synchros in this deck. The thing is, it's a level 4 tuner as well, which gives it huge utility with Thystvern, Smiger, and Rosenix, which is pretty delicious. It can't be used for synchro summoning on your opponent's turn, which is really the only sad thing about this card. It can't be destroyed by battle when it's in attack mode, and when it's targeted for an attack it switches combat position. So mostly I'll summon it out during my opponent's battle phase and then put it in defense. He attacks it, it moves to attack and doesn't die, because this deck doesn't mind taking a little bit of damage. 1 True King, Bahrastos. All of them of water, so you can like destroy them from your hand and then special summon this guy into defense. Then you have, let's see, we busted a Smiger and a Thystvern. You summon this guy and you get his Boom 2 water effect, which means you get to banish 2 of your opponent's spells or traps. That's delicious. So he works as a Twin Twister. And now you can use Thystvern and Smiger to search monsters, spells or traps from your deck. Fantastic. Alright, hand trap time. I'm running 2 Maxx just for the draw power. No, not just for the draw power, because when you've dropped this during your opponent's turn, you now have a level 2 monster in your graveyard that you can use with Crystron Citree to summon Crystron Quandax. Actually, this card is really amazing with this deck. It's like the first deck I've played that uses Maxx for more than just drawing. This is also a synchro material monster in this deck. Really good. Final monster, 3 Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit. Again, a level 3 tuner. This makes it, what, like 4, 6, like 9, 10 tuners? 9 or 10 tuners in this deck. That's really good, but it's also a hand trap that can stop your opponent when they activate cards face on the field, such as field spells or continuous trap cards or monster effects. It's a good card against the current meta. It counters off well against most others, and since it also works during your opponent's main phase, it's actually really good versus ABZs. So 3 of these, also level 3 tuners, so used with Rosenix to create level 7s at times. Spells or traps. We use Burial from a different dimension, obviously, since every monster in this deck has something with banishing included, and it allows you to use Crystron Thystvern several turns in a row. Upstart Goblin, because playing with 39 cards in a deck is really good. 2 Pot of Acquisitiveness. This shuffles your remove from play cards into your deck, which is the sad thing. You have to draw your searchers again. If they send it to the graveyard, this would be delicious. But it also draws you a card, which is sort of a plus, sometimes not with this deck. But it works well with recycling the tuners and the tuner summoning. Foolish Burial. This is a plus 10 card in this deck, because you send off Thystvern and you use Thystvern to fetch a Smiger, then summon Smiger, use Smiger effect, pick up Summon Citree, and during your opponent's turn you have on 1 Foolish Burial gained access to making a level 5 Synchro summon. Really good. 1 for 1, summon in either Quan or Jet Syncron from your deck if you need just that 1 tuner for Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Raigeki is self-explanatory, it clears your opponent's board, why the fuck not use it? Instant Fusion. I use 2 Instant Fusions, but I only have 1 target in the extra deck, but that's just because this card is really necessary. Pay 1000, summon the Fusion monster from your extra deck, regardless of materials, banish it, destroy it, something, during the end phase. You use this to summon Norden, and Norden then special summons 1 of your tuners from the grave, preferably a level 1, and then you have a level 5 Synchro summon again. So, yeah. I actually did test with Panzer Dragon as well, for faster Cyber Dragon Infinities, but it didn't work quite as well. 2 Twin Twisters. It's a stable, and also, if you're holding Thystvern or Smiger, this is also a search card, so bonus, 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 yeah. Traps. Bottomless Trap Hole, that is a self-explanatory in this meta. It's really good versus metal foes, since it banishes their summons. I'm running 2 Reject Reborns. It is first of all a save card. When you are attacked, you use this, negate the battle phase, end the battle phase. Only on direct attacks, of course. But it also special summons 1 tuner and 1 synchro monster from your graveyard, negating their effects. This is really, really amazing because you have Synchro tuner monsters, which lets you combo off for a nice summon next turn. So you could, for example, summon Quandax and Ametrix, the two Crystrons, and then on your own turn you could go into Phoenix. So that's really a good card. And lastly, 3 Crystron Impact. This trap special summons any Crystron monster that has been banished. Since I often banish my Synchro materials as well as the tuner, this lets me recycle Citree, lets me summon more times during an opponent's turn. It's really amazing. And it switches the defense of any opponent monster to 0 for the rest of this turn. That is really powerful because one of the Crystron Synchros has an effect that locks the opponent's monsters that have been special summoned into defense mode. So you set it to 0 and then you reduce it to defense mode with the Synchro monster, and then you can just ram it down. Also, when this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it to negate an effect that would target a Crystron monster you control. So that is crazy good. Okay, that is the primary deck. Here comes the extra deck. I'm running Infinity and Nova. You use Nova to summon Infinity because most of these Synchro monsters are 5th level machines. So yeah, and Infinity negates stuff and powers up. So he's really good. Norden, as previously explained, he lets me call out monsters from the graveyard again, letting me use my Ghost Ogres to make machine synchros and be happy about it. Okay, Crystron Quandax is a great freaking level 4 synchro monster because it's also a tuner. During your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you may use this card and any monster on your side of the field to synchro summon. That is really good because it's a quick effect during your opponent's turn that lets you control against the ABC matchups and against the blue eyes. They say alternative dragon boot this and you say nope, synchro summon, or you let it die because when this dies you get to summon up a Crystal monster in your graveyard except for a synchro. So if you've lost like Citree or Quan, then you can reclaim them using Quandax. Accel Synchron. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. It's level 5 tuner, and by sending a Jet Syncron from your deck to the graveyard, you can increase or decrease the level of this monster by 1. That is the primary reason for using it. Also, it can synchro summon during your opponent's turn. Again, great. So you can drop this level by 1, then it's at 4, use it with Thystvern or Smiger, and that lets you call out a Karakuri synchro. It's really, really great, and it gives Accel. Ally of Justice Catastor. This is mostly in there for fighting off Blue Eyes decks that didn't use Azure Silver Dragon. It comes out and destroys anything that isn't a Dark monster. With the recent meta and the rise of Abyss Actors and Dark Lords and Dark Synchro, of course, obviously, this isn't quite as good as it used to be, but at my local store where I play, there are like no dark side players at the moment, or dark type, dark attribute of course, which makes Catastor really, really great. And the 2 Crystron level 5s, here we go, Ametrix. When he comes out, he pops up and says, hey, switch everything to defense mode if it has been special summoned. So it controls what the opponent has on the field. It's really great against the meta because Monarchs are sort of gone, and every other deck special summons. So pop it and say like, hey, you can't attack this turn. And when it is destroyed by battle or card effect, target a Crystal monster in your graveyard, except for a Synchro monster again, and special summon it. So it runs well, it has monster reborn-ish effects. There's really no reason why not to run 2 of these, and it's also a level 5 machine type monster, and it is a water. So you can actually pop this with the True King to summon from your graveyard and then just make the other one. That is really good. Alright, moving on, level 7. I'm thinking of scaling this one to 2. It's Karakuri Shogun Burei. I was looking for machine types that could be used because Citree and Quan and such can only be used to make machine type monsters during your opponent's turn. So I thought the Karakuris would be a great addition, and it turns out I was right. It gives excellent Accel with the Jet Syncrons and such to create Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon using this guy, which is also why I think he should be a 2. When he comes out, he summons a Karakuri monster from my deck, which is where I summon the dog. I've been thinking of adding the level 5 monster, Karakuri monster as well, just to have more Cyber Dragon Infinity or Nova materials. Also, you can use him once per turn to change the battle position of a monster, which can be used to either draw cards using the level 8 Karakuri Synchro, or it could be used to control your opponent's field. It does target, however, so it isn't that good, but it is a material, and it can be summoned during your opponent's turn. Alright, the big Karakuri guy. He's level 8, and when he comes out, he also special summons a Karakuri monster from your deck. Again, calling the level 4 tuner. When the battle position of a face-up Karakuri monster he controls is changed, you get to draw a card. So you can use the level 7 to switch his own battle position into defense, draw a card with this guy, then use Jet Syncron, summon Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Really good combo. This used to be an Omega. It is now a Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend for clearing out special summoned monsters. Again, I think this has a lot of control potential, and also my little brother needed to use the Omega. So I thought, hey, this is a pretty good replacement. Once per turn, you can destroy as many special summoned effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card's. And then boom your opponent for 500 for each. It's a pretty good addition to clearing up your opponent's field and then just knocking the sense out of him. But it cannot be summoned during your opponent's turn with the Crystrons because it is not a machine type. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon is the big beast of this meta. He is like in every freaking deck along with Ultimate Sulkin. He negates monster effects, he fights level 5 or higher monsters, and kills everything by booming up. That's really his thing. It's like the best card in the game. And you can clearly easily summon it using this deck. It requires non-tuner synchro monsters for material, but that really isn't a problem because there are so many non-tuner synchros in this deck that can be made out, like summon a level 5, go with a Ghost Ogre, summon this. Done. So that's so easy. The last Crystron monster is Crystron Phoenix. When it comes out, it removes, banishes all spells and traps your opponent controls and in the graveyard. This is crazy good in the Palazoid meta. This is the ultimate counter for Palazoid frogs, because they won't stand a chance and they won't see it coming. Also, when it is destroyed by battle card effect, you can target one other monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So this can actually summon synchro monsters, and it can just summon any monster from your graveyard. It doesn't even have to be a Crystron. It's really freaking powerful. The downside is that it needs a synchro tuner and a non-tuner synchro monster. But that really isn't a problem because you use Quandax for the tuner or Accel Synchron and reduce/increase the level to fit the level of another synchro monster you control, and then just pop this guy out. I've been thinking of going this to 2, but haven't because it's too situational. But it's still very, very good. The last card of the deck is the Beast, Mr. Star Eater. Again, a card that is a personal preference to me. It is a level 11, which means you can summon it by using Phoenix and a Citree. You can summon it by using a True King and a Citree. You can use it by using the level 7 Karakuri Synchro as well as the tuner that it summoned from the deck, which is level 4. But you cannot summon it during your opponent's turn using this deck. Anywho, it must be synchro summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways, so it can't be special summoned by Phoenix, which is pretty sad. But its summon cannot be negated, yes! And card effects cannot be activated if it attacks, and it's unaffected by the effects of other card steps until the end of the damage step. So it blocks off the new Mirror Force combos, it blocks off some Warning, it blocks off some Judgment, Bottomless Trap Hold. It's really, really great. And a good addition against the meta. Also, 3200 attack is pretty hardcore to get against. That was my Crystron deck. I would like to say that I'm very happy to be back, and I'm looking forward to creating more deck profiles for you all to enjoy. This deck is pretty budget, aside from the extra deck, so I think I created it for something around $25, and I traded off my blue-wise stuff for the extra deck. So really, that was pretty great. Thank you for watching, YouTube. Hopefully you'll come back for more videos when I launch them, and I'll see you guys next time.